Hello all, and welcome to this, and this will be me talking about that in less than a week, or a week, well, less than a week when most of you see this. Ring of Honor will have a live pay-per-view on TV. Yes. And there hasn't been a lot talked about it, but then again, Ring of Honor has been kind of not hyping it a lot. I would imagine you'll probably see more from Ring of Honor this coming week. I haven't seen much of the TV, so I don't know how much they're hyping it on TV. I would imagine they're probably hyping it a bit, and in a lot of ways, we'll find out a whole lot about about their TV, and if we're going to be able to get people who watch the TV to watch a live pay-per-view that they can order on their pay-per-view provider, as they haven't been able to take all these people that apparently are watching on the Sinclair show and not get them to order the iPay-per-views. So we will see. We will find out. The card for the show is okay. I would imagine a lot of that has to do, and this people will say I'm defending Ring of Honor, but I'm really not. If you followed how this went, it's very evident that what happened was that the cable companies got mad at WWE because of the network and them giving the pay-per-views basically away on the network. And so they went to Ring of Honor, cut Ring of Honor a pretty good deal, gave them a date that they needed a pay-per-view for, and this is the date they got. And unfortunately, the date they got coincides with a fairly major New Japan show, so no AJ, no Young Bucks, and really no major Watanabe will be on the show. But I don't know who he's wrestling. I don't think they've said yet. But no other major New Japan talent. So, and that's going to hurt this show. At least when it comes to people getting excited and the internet really hyping up the show, it's going to hurt it a lot. And I think it has hurt it a lot. But the show itself, I think, looks fairly good. I've heard a lot of people trying to compare this to Barely Legal, even though Ring of Honor has been on pay-per-view before. But they were taped pay-per-views, taped at least 2 months out, so people kind of knew everything. You didn't have that live feel. It's a very different feeling to it, and so a lot of people have compared this to Barely Legal, which was ECW's first pay-per-view, and I think that's fair, and I also think that it's unfair in a lot of ways because ECW had probably a good at least 6 months once they figured out they were going to be on pay-per-view to get everything ready for pay-per-view. They had a match that they had been holding out for, and then they were able to put it on pay-per-view, which was Taz versus Sabu. They were able to bring in the Minichi Pro guys. They were able to, do a lot of things on the pay-per-view that Ring of Honor isn't going to be able to do because, again, I think because of the time they weren't able to really set up a lot. And this pay-per-view is more of a test run, and then like the real first pay-per-view, I guess they've said, is going to be Final Battle if this works. Now, what that means by this works, does this mean they believe it's 10,000 that they need to get 10,000 buys to break even? Is breaking even the number they need, or do they need a number good enough to where they figure they can get to the point of breaking even? I think that's the real big issue here, because when you compare, ECW when they first went on the pay-per-view, the thing was they had guys that you could point to and go, those guys should not only be in WWE or WCW, but either they should be main events or very high up on the card in ECW and WWE and WCW at the time. And Ring of Honor just doesn't have that. They really haven't had that since Bryan and McGuinness and Joe. Those were the three guys you could really point to. Well, and I guess Morishima too. Those four guys you could definitely point to and say, hey, those guys are guys that should be could be on TNA or could be on WWE's roster and be high up on the card. And you really don't have that here, and that definitely hurts Ring of Honor. I've said that before. I've felt that's been probably their biggest problem since going on TV is they haven't had that guy. really, and with the fact that WWE has really they opened the, what do they call it, the talent center, or NXT, and really gone for to bring in a lot of guys. And so that's kind of what you have. Even though they released a bunch of people this past week, none of those people are going to be able to be on this pay-per-view. Probably the quickest those guys would be able to be on a show even like this for Ring of Honor wouldn't be until the Brooklyn Stadium show, I would think. So, but we will see, I guess. But anyways, what do I expect out of this pay-per-view? I'm not real sure. I don't know what we're going to get. The card looks good. I wouldn't say it's great. You're going to get Adam Cole versus Michael Elgin, which they kind of built up. But again, if you're not a big Ring of Honor fan, that match does almost nothing for you. You've got the Briscoes taking on Matt Hardy and Michael Bennett. So I figure when we get in, if the cable companies help Ring of Honor out and we get some ads on cable for the pay-per-view, I would imagine we will see Matt Hardy a lot because he's a guy that people know. So there's that. But that match should be good. I'm not gonna say great, but should be good. Then you've got reDRagon taking on Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. That match, if they let them go, that match will be awesome. No question about that. You have Kevin Steen and probably what will be one, if not his last match, one of his last matches in Ring of Honor, taking on Silas Young. This match should be very good. It's going to be it's going to be some sort of hardcore match. So there we go. There you have Jay Lethal taking on Matt Taven. That match should be good. You have Roderick taking on Cedric Alexander in a submission match. Again, if you saw the what was that match was on? That was on the Toronto show, New Japan show. They had a really good match, and I think that they can have a really good match again. So there you go, and that's what they have announced so far. Which again, it's not the card that you would want to debut on pay-per-view. There's no question about that. For a lot of people say that, no question about that. Is it the best card they probably could have done given the circumstances? I don't even know about that. But hopefully it's a really good show. Hopefully it's a great show. Hopefully they get out there and they be able to do everything they want to do, and it's a fun show. And all I really hope is that everyone that watches the show, everyone that wants to watch the show, orders the fucking show and doesn't stream it, doesn't download it, actually orders the show. I've said this before. Your money is what dictates what goes and what doesn't go in pro wrestling. And then when you don't give what you want to see in pro wrestling your money, it doesn't go anywhere. And I would hope that people that want to check this show out, see how Ring of Honor does, see if Ring of Honor puts on a good show. I do have a feeling that and I hope this isn't the case, because I don't think you can do this anymore, even though this is what TNA did back in the day. I think they figure they can put on, hype the show up, get people to watch the show, and then hopefully the show gets a lot of buzz and people order the replay. I think we're in an era where you're not going to get a lot of people to order the replays. I think you have to get people to order that initial viewing. And, because back in the day, TNA did really good on replays once they put on these spectacular shows, and people would be, oh man, you got to see the show, it was really good, and people would go and they order the replay. But I think we're beyond that now. So there you have it. But like I said, I think definitely, like I said, I think they were kind of given this spot. I mean, for example, the original show for this in Nashville was a Saturday show, and so once it became a pay-per-view, they did move it to Sunday, which I think will help. I think the fact that it is a Sunday show will help out a lot. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. Like I said, they need about 10,000 to break even. I would be kind of shocked if they get that. I'd love for them to get that. I'd love for everybody to, pony up and for them to get, maybe even more than that. Maybe we'd get even a kind of a minor pay-per-view before Final Battle. But like I said, if this show does well, apparently, Final Battle, which I'm sure they would bring in, more New Japan talent, because it is, I believe it's about 2 weeks. Final Battle is usually about 2 weeks before the Dome show. So it'd be very easy for them to bring in New Japan talent. To have AJ not being on the show is going to hurt it big time. And the Young Bucks, they could have on this show as well. So there you go. But I just wanted to come on here and kind of talk about this myself. And so there you go. So if you want to watch the show, if you're interested in the show, I would definitely say, order it. You can order it on your basic regular pay-per-view, and you can also get it on Ustream apparently as well. So there's no reason for anyone not to order this show. So there you go. So with that, I'm out. Have a good one. Later.